Senator Ron Wyden got 186,000. He sits on the Finance Committee's subcommittee on healthcare, with elected officials of both parties accepting large donations. Whether we have Obamacare or a GOP plan, the health insurance companies win either way. Their donations to Max Baucus, the Democrat in charge of the Obamacare legislation, were a particularly good investment. What better way to increase your revenue than to get the federal government to force consumers to buy your product through the individual mandate? Nice work there by Liz Fowler, who you met in our Focus on Pharmaceuticals a couple of weeks ago. As you'll recall, she was instrumental in drafting Obamacare and went on to become head of global health policy at drug company Johnson & Johnson. But what was her role in this swamp before Congress and pharmaceuticals? Vice President of Public Policy at WellPoint, the country's second largest private insurance company. Marilyn Tavenner is another example of someone who's passed through the revolving door between the government and the health insurance industry. She's the current president and CEO of the industry's trade association, known as America's Health Insurance Plans. But before she started advocating for the industry, she was the director of the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, or CMS, where she turned 2.3% plan cuts into 3.3% increases in the Medicare Advantage program, directly benefiting the industry she now represents. And before her job with the federal government, turns out she was an executive at the Hospital Corporation of America. That's right, the same HCA run by now Governor Rick Scott that we profiled last week and that was hit with the largest fraud settlement in U.S. history. And there are other swamp things crawling out right behind her. Marilyn Tavenner's replacement at the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services is yet another citizen of the swamp, Andy Slavitt. He was previously a top executive at a subsidiary of United Health Group, America's biggest health insurance company, which received $30 billion in revenue from CVS. And Slavitt, when he became deputy administrator, made at least $4.8 million in tax-free income from major healthcare companies. How convenient, then, that acting administrator Slavitt ruled on business that could affect United Health Group. Lobbying and political donations keep the health swamp going. To his credit, Republican Congressman Tom Garrett has tried to expose this corruption. Talking about why nothing ever happens to clamp down on the health insurance companies, he wrote, "So why hasn't it been done? I can think of one sad but logical reason: money and special interests. The donations and lobbying efforts of entities like Humana and Cigna, Kaiser and WellPoint are massive. This is a sitting congressman telling you that the health insurance industry, not our elected officials, are driving health policy." One of the reforms the congressman is pushing for would expose the health insurance companies to real competition. Right now, that's blocked by the little-known McCarran-Ferguson Antitrust Act of 1945. Yes, the government specifically exempts health insurance from most federal antitrust laws. In effect, this means that markets are artificially restricted and that we have what the congressman calls government-sanctioned oligopolies in health insurance. Now, since that business is effectively guaranteed by the government, since the health insurance companies are pretty much part of the government, do their bosses pay themselves like the public sector bureaucrats they basically are? What do you think? Here's a comparison for you. Tom Price, the Health and Human Services Secretary, makes $207,800 a year. The head of Humana, Bruce Broussard, made $17 million in 2016. Stephen Hemsley, CEO of United Health, made $33 million. But the swampy jackpot goes to the head of Aetna, Mark Bertoli, who last year made more than $41 million. As I've said before, I don't begrudge people high salaries if they create value in the marketplace, but these people are just ripping us off. They bribe the government to force out competition and force people to buy their products. That's not the free market. That's not consumer choice. That is a racket. And none of them, not a single one, should be paid a cent more than Tom Price. It's time for a revolution in healthcare, to take on the corruption that enriches the pharmaceutical industry, the hospital industry, and the health insurance industry, while your healthcare costs just go up and up and up. It is time to drain this sickening swamp. Well, the panel has been